Today, we'll be covering some of the more underrated offerings around Walt Disney World that shouldn't be overlooked during your next trip. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, April 6th, and you're listening to episode 82, Underrated Experiences at Walt Disney World. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. Earlier this week, Disney announced that both water parks will be open at the same time for the first time since the pandemic closures. Beginning on May 21st, all the way through September 7th, both Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon will be open for business. Blizzard Beach is currently open, but it will close on May 1st, and Typhoon Lagoon will open on that date. But again, on May 21st, Blizzard Beach will reopen, and then both will be open through at least September 7th. This makes sense given the new perk that Disney Resort hotel guests have access to in 2025, which is that they can access either water park on their check-in day, which is free of charge, by the way, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good incentive to stay on resort.
Exactly. So, with the influx of guests coming in for the summer season, with the warmer weather, they're going to want to take advantage of that. So having both open, it's good sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Disney is also piloting an airport luggage transfer service. So as of this recording, the service only applies at the value resorts and for Southwest airline flights departing from MCO, and just departing at this point, not arriving. So when you've checked into your departing flight, again, that's only Southwest as of right now, you can bring your bags to luggage services at the value resorts and they'll be transferred to the airport for you. And then you can skip the whole baggage drop-off system, right, when you get to the airport, like altogether. Disney suggests that you drop your bags off the night before, but here are the cutoff times, like the official cutoff times. So if you're flying before 1 p.m., your bags have to be at luggage services before 1 a.m. So that really has to be the night before because you have to drop them off like 12 hours early. But if you're flying after 1 p.m., your bags can actually be dropped off as late as 4 hours before your departure time or 1 p.m., whichever occurs first. So that's a lot of caveats at this point. And it's unclear if this is going to be expanded to include like all Disney resorts eventually. And, eventually be expanded to also include more airlines. We don't know at this point. It's just a pilot project. So we're going to keep, our ear to the ground for more details on that and share that here when we know more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting concept. Over at Universal Orlando, there was some media previews this week, and they were allowed to take photos and videos, and my God, everything looks absolutely amazing. We both got literal chills when we were seeing the clips for Ministry of Magic.
Yeah, those green tiles there. We've talked about it before.
Absolutely
but man,
amazing.
Yeah.
We cannot wait to experience in person all of this. And just like you, we'll be watching these initial videos and impressions as they continue to pour in until we can get there and actually experience this for ourselves.
Yeah, I agreed 100%. Yep.
So with that said, let's get into today's main topic. We will be covering some of the less popular attractions, dining, shows, and entertainment across the parks. Each park has their headliners, right? We all know that. Think Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Happily Ever After Fireworks at Magic Kingdom, Fantasmic over at Hollywood Studios, Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom, and of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over at Epcot, just to name a few.
Yep, exactly.
So these are some of the kind of offerings that pretty much everyone will experience during their trip.
Yeah, exactly, right? Everyone has their image of what is a must-do at the parks, right?
Or quintessential Disney.
Exactly, right? And that's for good reason because they're awesome.
I agree.
But there are also some lesser known or less popular attractions that are, really good still.
And they get overlooked a lot of the time.
They do, exactly, right? So that's what today's about. And, those less popular offerings, like we said, they can be overlooked. And this can be for any number of reasons, right? So think maybe they're not super thrilling, or maybe they've been around for a really long time, or, they don't attract the same amount of attention for that reasons or any number of reasons, right? But really, a lot of the less popular offerings are still really great and are definitely worth checking out during your trip. Plus, generally speaking, these typically have like really low wait times outside of the most like busiest times of year. So the time commitment can be fairly low if that's something that you're worried about, right? If you're like, oh, I don't want to spend so much time in line for, these less popular attractions. Well, generally speaking, you're not going to wait long at all because the wait time is not bad.
Yeah, they can usually be really good fillers.
Yeah, exactly. So first up, let's get into the attractions and we'll start at Magic Kingdom.
Okay, so Tomorrowland has the usual suspects that are really popular, like Tron and Space Mountain, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin to a lesser extent, but still popular as it is. But one that we find can sometimes be overlooked is Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. This is more of a show than an actual attraction, but it's definitely worth doing. It's essentially an interactive comedy show where the monsters on screen will pick people out of the crowd to be involved in the humor. It's actually really funny, and we've always really enjoyed this one. But we're guilty of this too. It's not one that we do every trip, and actually, I think our kids have only actually done this one once, but it's always good fun. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, agreed. And they have done it, haven't they? I think
they have, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we've taken them once, but we should probably do it again on next trip. And another thing about this as well is that it gets holiday overlays. So it has a Halloween overlay around Halloween time and then a Christmas overlay at Christmas time. So the jokes change every time too.
Oh,
kind
every
of like
single
Lucy
time,
said. So it's worth going back just to kind of get a different experience. Next up, and still in Tomorrowland, we've got Carousel of Progress. So again, more of a show than an actual attraction, but it's a classic for sure. So we talked about this one last week, and it was initially created for the 64-65 World's Fair. And then it went to Disneyland in California after that, before making its way to Walt Disney World, where it remains to this day. So it's a rotating theater, and it takes you through scenes from different eras, all the way to the present day. The classic song, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, is what you'll hear before the theater rotates at the end of every kind of sequence. And, you know, it's a good way to get off your feet for a while and some air conditioning. It's a feel-good attraction and definitely a good one to do at the height of the afternoon, kind of when the parks are at their busiest and hottest, right? Especially like anytime between April and, you know, October, November. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Not necessarily one that we do every single trip, but it definitely should be. We do love this one a lot, and I think we will for sure do it next trip, I think. The kids have done it before, so 100%. We'll do it again.
Yeah, and I'm not sure we've been in there since they've refreshed the seats.
No, we have not.
Yeah.
Next up is the Walt Disney World Railroad. And while it's not strictly an attraction, so to speak, it certainly feels like it, and it should definitely be on your list at some point during the day. It doubles as an actual transportation method, so it'll actually transport you around the park as well. So it's easy to work in that sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, let's say you're in Frontierland and you want to get over to Storybook Circus, you can 100% do that.
Absolutely.
And like Lucy said, this is a must in our opinion. And beyond that, Walt loved trains, right? The entrance to Magic Kingdom is a literal train station. So it's a classic for sure. So there's stops at Main Street, Frontierland, right near Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and then back in Storybook Circus. You can embark or disembark at any of these three stations. And it's a nice leisure ride that gives you some views of areas of the park that you wouldn't necessarily get to see otherwise, right? So it's definitely worth doing for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I love that one. For sure. I love doing it every single time.
Agreed. Yep.
So back over in Fantasyland, there's Mickey's PhilharMagic. Again, this one doesn't get much love if you compare it to the other offerings like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Peter Pan. This is a short 12-minute 3D film on a large 180-degree screen. Donald Duck finds Mickey's sorcerer hat and chaos ensues. It's cute and fun, and again, a great way to enjoy some cool, quiet, and dark during your Magic Kingdom day.
Yeah, no doubt. And another one we've neglected in the past, right? But we always enjoy it when we do it. Remind me, have the kids seen this one?
I'm pretty sure they haven't.
I don't think we have been with the kids, so we'll have to do that for sure.
Agreed.
And still in Fantasyland, tucked all the way at the back near Gaston's Tavern, in behind Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you've got Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid. It doesn't get much love back there, and it's usually pretty quiet with low waits. It's an omni mover, right? So think exactly like Haunted Mansion with the Doom buggies, but this one is like a shell. Essentially, you sit down, 2 people, maybe 3 if you have a little one, and away you go. You'll encounter the Little Mermaid characters and a massive Ursula animatronic. It's a nice and quiet ride and a must for any Little Mermaid fan in your family, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And we don't always do this one, but again, why not? It's not long and you likely won't have a long wait, and it's a really nice leisure indoor ride, nice and cool in there. The music is actually really great in that one too.
Of course.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I like that. Over in Liberty Square, you've got the Liberty Belle and Tom Sawyer Island. And now these are definitely underrated, but they should be on your list for your next trip. Disney hasn't exactly said when these attractions will close, but back at the D23 last year, they did announce that a new Cars area would be coming to this area of the park. And as a result, the Liberty Belle and Tom Sawyer Island would be closing permanently.
Yeah. And the Liberty Belle is really a nice ride. It takes you around a loop that gives you great views of the park. And if you want to get a peek at the work that's going on at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, because it's closed right now, and what's going on even beyond there, right? If you know what I'm getting at with that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Exactly. You actually kind of get a peek of it from the Liberty Belle. So it's definitely worth doing for that reason alone. And, I think that we'll take the kids on it in May because it might be their last. Exactly.
Yep,
and it might be their last chance. Yeah, exactly.
Agreed. And Tom Sawyer Island is definitely a good place to let your kids kind of run around and burn off some energy. You have to actually board a raft from Frontierland to get there too. And you have to take the raft back as well. So no danger of your kids getting lost when they're on the island.
Yeah.
Again, enjoy it while you still can because it will be closing in the nearish future. And that's another one our kids haven't done. So we'll definitely do that one too before it closes.
And still in Frontierland, you'll find the Country Bear Jamboree. So this show is often overlooked. And if you've seen it previously and thought that it was tired, well, it got a refresh last year, right? With some revamped animatronics and new songs. So it's likely changed since the last time you saw it. And if you've never seen it, you should be checking it out for sure. And it's a good time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 16-minute show and you'll get to sit down in a theater. You'll see 18 animatronics singing classic tunes and a medley of newer songs as well. Again, it doesn't get much love, never has a long wait, but it's definitely a good way to get off your feet, get into some AC for a beat.
Yes, exactly.
Haha, play on words
there. And looping back around to Adventureland, you've got the Enchanted Tiki Room. So this is a classic attraction and features 225 audio and animatronics. The show is hosted by Jose, Michael, Pierre, and Fritz. And you're going to hear some tunes and some humor.
Yeah, it's not super long, never that busy, but it is a classic opening day attraction. Again, it'll be cool and dark in there, and you'll get to just sit down and enjoy the show. That song will likely get stuck in your head for a while, but so be it. It's a great Disney song to do that. To have it stuck in your head, and you'll just be walking around Magic Kingdom, just singing it. Nothing wrong with that while enjoying your Dole Whip next door.
Yeah, exactly. And, this one never has a long wait. Many people skip it. And anyways. Jungle Cruise and Pirates get all the love in this area of the park, so it's definitely worth to stop at this one.
Agreed.
And lastly, you've got the Swiss Family Treehouse. So this is exactly what it sounds like, a massive treehouse inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson. So the structure reaches heights of 6 stories, and it gives you sweeping views of Adventureland. It's a great way for the littles to stretch their legs after standing, in long queues all morning. Just, let them go free. There's I think 116 steps or so to get to the 6th story. So it's a good thing for them to do. Yeah,
and our kids have actually never been up there. You and I did it back in 2014, which was a long time ago, but we're going to definitely have to let them loose here next month. They would love that. We got to take our own advice sometimes. We got to slow it down a bit and just let the kids go and experience all these things that they've never experienced before, because that's kind of fun.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Now, in terms of entertainment, you've got the hugely popular Happily Ever After fireworks and the Festival of Fantasy Parade, right? There's a good chance that you've stopped at both of these during your previous trips, or you're planning to do that on an upcoming trip. But there is some entertainment in the park that don't get quite as much love. And an example of this are the Dapper Dans. So this is a barbershop quartet, and they sing classic tunes in harmony and include some low-key dancing and humor as well.
And they're very talented.
So talented. Yeah. It's unreal. It's it's a charming performance and 100% worth stopping for, right, at some point during your day. They perform multiple times throughout the morning and into kind of mid-afternoon, and you're going to find them on Main Street, usually between the Emporium and the Confectionery. But they'll sometimes pop up elsewhere as well. I've seen them on the cart that comes down Main Street, and they were hanging off of it singing.
That's true. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, you'll see them in different places, but usually on Main Street.
Yeah, and of course, you can check your My Disney Experience app. That'll give you the most up-to-date information, and if ever you're in doubt, you can always ask a cast member as well. They also become the Cadaver Dance during the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, so if you're ever there for that, that's 100% worth checking out as well. They do a fantastic job all the time.
Agreed.
Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair is another entertainment that kind of gets looked over.
Yep.
This is a stage show that happens on the stage right in front of Cinderella Castle. There's a handful of show times throughout the day from mid-morning to mid-afternoon. You'll have Mickey and the gang, as well as some other Disney characters like Tiana, Rapunzel and Flynn, Olaf, Anna, Elsa, among others. It's a great little show to watch.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. There's choreographed dancing and tunes that your kids will know and love and can sing along to as well. It's a short show, right? But again, it doesn't get nearly as much love as it should, like Lucy said. We often see people actually walking right by it and while it's going on, right? And I don't know how
people do that, because you're like, something's happening. Why aren't you stopping and watching?
And
but some people are just kind of in the zone and they got to get somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, agreed. And if you have a kid with you, they're stopping, right? So you might not have a choice, and that's a good thing, because you should be stopping to check it out.
Absolutely. Another thing is Disney Adventures Friends Cavalcade, and that's the lesser known little sister of the Festival of Fantasies parade. It's much shorter, but features some characters that you don't get to see in the parade, like the big parade. And again, it's not much of a time commitment, but definitely worth checking out. You're going to see characters like Bruno from Encanto and Miguel from Coco, among others like Woody, Mr. Incredible, and Elastigirl, Moana, just to name a few. There's usually a couple of showtimes every day, and it follows the same route as the Festival of Fantasies parade.
Yeah, exactly. We had great timing with this one actually on our last trip. We were just leaving Sleepy Hollow after a snack, and we were just coming out like where it crosses in Liberty Square.
Yeah, we could hear the music.
Yeah, exactly. So we just stopped and watched it, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least is Casey's Corner's Pianist, and that's at Casey's Corner. So there's a literal piano outside of this quick service dining spot, and a talented pianist will play a wide variety of tunes that you'll know and love, and they take requests as well, so don't be shy. You know, the show is about 20 minutes and they're really, really talented musicians. And there's several shows starting right around noon through dinner time.
Yeah, so grab yourself some corn dog nuggets or an ice cream from Plaza Ice Cream Parlor across the street and then just enjoy the show because it's a really good show.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Now, when it comes to dining, again, you've got your heavy hitters in this park. So think places like Cinderella's Royal Table, Be Our Guest, and of course the quick service locations such as Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe. But there are some underrated places at this park that are not as popular, but can be even better in our personal opinion.
Yeah, 100%. So first up, we've got Columbia Harbor House. So this is a quick service restaurant in Liberty Square, not far from the Hall of Presidents and Haunted Mansion. And this one is not as popular as some of the other quick service options in the park. And that might be because of the menu. But for us, this is what sets it apart and why you actually should be considering it.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to find things like glazed salmon, lobster rolls, shrimp platter and salad, fish, clam chowder. And it's not just seafood. You can also get your usual chicken tenders and fries as well. So really, that's what's great about it, honestly. You have some different and lighter options as well as some classic options as well.
Yeah, 100%. And not far down the road, you've got Liberty Tree Tavern. So this is a table service restaurant. Again, not nearly as popular as some of the other ones we've mentioned, but the inside has kind of a colonial era style theming. And the menu is served family style, and it's basically a Thanksgiving dinner, right? So we get this may not be your go-to in like the dead of summer when it's 100 degrees outside and the humidity feels like a wet blanket.
I can see that, yeah.
You know, but in the spring and fall and winter, you know, when it's
comfort.
a little bit cooler or not
Yes.
quite so hot, it's a really nice meal.
Yeah.
Plus the dessert here is unreal. It's called the Ooey Gooey Toffee Cake, and it's delicious. It's vanilla toffee cake topped with an ice cream and chocolate sauce, and it's more than the sum of its parts. It's actually really, really good.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a restaurant where you could probably do a walk-up.
Yes.
If ever, because it doesn't get as much love. This is an option for sure.
Definitely not as hard to get reservations.
Exactly. We ate there in 2014 with my parents,
Yeah.
and we really enjoyed it. And now that our kids are getting a little older and their palate has expanded,
Yep.
I think we could actually try this one eventually and they would enjoy it.
Agreed, yep.
And last but certainly not least is Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen, or just Skipper Canteen for short. This one is located in Adventureland, not far from the Jungle Cruise attraction. It's gained popularity recently with the Jungle Cruise and the resurgence of the IP surrounding that, but it's still a less popular option than the others in this park. But you should definitely be considering this for your next visit. This is a table service restaurant.
Yeah, agreed. It has some really delicious menu items like the noodle bowl that tastes like chicken because that's my go-to. The curried vegetable stew, just to name a few. You have some options that differ from your standard theme park fare, right? Which can be exactly what you need during your trip. Plus, the theming in here is really fun, and the cast members are skippers, and they come complete with like punny jokes and deadpan humor. Like, hey, we're giving you swamp water. It's just it's a lot of fun. We love it here. Yeah.
All right, so switching parks now, we're going to head on over to Hollywood Studios. In terms of attractions, there's a lot less attractions at this park when you compare it to Magic Kingdom. And it definitely has some heavy hitters for sure. So think Rise of the Resistance, Slinky Dog Dash, Tower of Terror, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. But there are a couple of attractions that don't get much love and really should get more love.
Yeah, agreed. First up is Muppet Vision 3D. Now, this one is a little unique, right? Since it's set to close permanently on June 7th, which is like literally like 2 months away at this point. So you're likely to find it busier than it has been in recent years if you've got a trip coming up.
That's true.
Given that people are, trying to experience it for the very last time.
Or for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, having said that, if you are traveling between now and then, you should definitely check it out while you still can.
So the show features the talents of Kermit, Miss Piggy, and the whole Muppets crew. It's a 3D film experience, but there's also some live action elements as well. That's what really adds to the fun of this show. We do like this one quite a bit, and even though we're sad to see it go, we are really so pumped to see the new Monsters Inc. land that will be replacing that end of the park. That suspended coaster is sure to be absolutely amazing.
100%.
So we know there are some big fans of the Muppets here, but we are really at peace with this change.
Yeah, we are.
I couldn't even have thought of any other place that they were going to put that. That was like the perfect spot for it. So sorry, Muppets. But
yeah, the only other place I was thinking maybe was Animation Courtyard, where like Star Wars Launch Day is and the Disney Junior Play and Dance.
But I think they needed like that space there. So sorry, Muppets. But the Muppets get to go over to Rock and Roller Coaster.
Exactly, right? So they're going to be taking over
Rock going away forever.
Exactly. So that's been announced is that they're going to take over Rock and Roller Coaster from Aerosmith sometime in the next like year or so.
Yeah, so they'll still be around, just they'll be in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. And then next up is Star Tours. Star Tours.
It's a classic.
This is such a fun attraction and it's never busy. Like it just doesn't get the love and attention that it deserves. The queue itself is actually low key, like really good. There's a giant AT-AT or an AT-AT like right outside like the main queue area.
Yep.
And inside the queue itself, there's droids, there's C-3PO as you're making your way to the simulators. It's usually like a 5 to 10 minute wait, like at the very max, right? And usually less, like pretty much a walk on. You can definitely get on there, no problem, no lightning lane needed.
Absolutely. It's a simulator type attraction that has you travel through different scenes in the Star Wars canon. And this is one of the best perks of this attraction as well, is that there's a bunch of different simulations. So you could ride this one a few times and get different experiences every single time. They actually added new scenes this year reflecting some of their newer offerings like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. So that's really great to see as well. Like they're giving it a refresh. And honestly, I love the old stuff too, but the refresh will help as well.
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely underrated and not one we ever skip. We always do with this one at least once, if not like usually a couple times in the day. Yeah.
If it's raining, we're like, run to
Star Tours. Yeah, 100%. And then last is Beauty and the Beast live on stage. So this is at the stage show on your right when you're facing Tower of Terror. And this isn't as popular as like the Frozen Sing-Along or the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, but it is a great show and definitely worth stopping for at some point during your trip.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes long and it's an abbreviated version of the film that you know and love. It's my absolute favorite film. Belle is my favorite princess. So it features all of the characters that you would expect to see like Lumiere, Mrs. Potts, and Chip. It's a Broadway style show and it's just so good. I really, really love this one. I think we took the kids on this one. Maybe not. Maybe if we haven't, they're seeing it this time.
Yeah, exactly. And for entertainment, you've got the Green Army Men Drum Corps. So not many people seem to know about these guys until they just show up in Toy Story Land, right? And you have to kind of stop and see them for a bit as they're walking by because they're just so good. So the performance itself is like percussion, right? So the cast members are dressed in all green and even have like their hands and their faces painted green and like sunglasses too. Like literally every inch of them is green. Like the only thing that's not is when they open their mouth.
And their teeth.
And then their boots have flat pieces attached to them to make them look like the stands of actual little green army men. So their costumes are really well done. Yeah.
They have a drum routine, but then they also involve the crowd and they crack some jokes as well. It's a really well done performance and we love stopping for this one every single time. They have several performances throughout the day, usually every hour on the hour from 10 a.m. until about 4 p.m. So check the My Disney Experience app for the most up-to-date information and make sure to not miss this one.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Now, over near the Frozen Sing-Along, there's an Olaf meet and greet at Celebrity Spotlight. So it's actually in the same building as Frozen Sing-Along, just on the opposite side. This meet and greet never seems to be as busy as some of the others in the park, and we think it's partially because of where it's located. It's kind of tucked away, but it's a fun and cute meet and greet. And if there's any Frozen fan in your party, it's 100% worth checking out. The cast members that are friends with Olaf are short, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a fun meet and greet.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, Olaf loves hugs. So your kids can get a hug from Olaf.
Yeah, give them warm hugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then literally right next door to the Olaf meet and greet, there's the Mickey's Shorts Theater, where you can catch Vacation Fun, an original animated short with Mickey and Minnie. The animation is in the same style as the short in the queue of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which we all know and love. The song is very catchy.
Yep.
The theater is super cute, and it's a great way to relax in Hollywood studios for a bit. We've actually only sat down for this one once, and the kids have never seen it. So guess what? We're going to be doing.
We have a lot to do on this trip.
We really do. Oh boy.
Yeah, but I agree 100%. And then back at Animation Courtyard, in between Journey of the Little Mermaid and Hollywood Brown Derby, is Star Wars Launch Bay. It's like right at the back there. There's a meet and greet with BB-8, Darth Vader, and Chewbacca. Again, because of the location, it's not as visited as it should be. And I bet like that if it was in Galaxy's Edge, those would have like massive
Huge
lines.
lines, yeah.
But because it's like over in Animation Courtyard, which a lot of people don't even dip down into, it's just a little bit sleepy back there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And really, this whole area could probably use a refresh. It feels a little bit tired over there.
Yeah, agreed.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And not far from there, tucked in behind Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway on the way to Toy Story Land, you've got Walt Disney Presents. This is a walkthrough exhibit of Walt Disney's life from his humble beginnings to growing the Disney empire. There's sketches, photos, costumes, artwork, and models, not unlike a museum exhibit, essentially.
But a fun one. Yeah.
A very entertaining
sleepy,
and very heartwarming one.
Yeah, exactly. And then the tour ends with Walt Disney One Man's Dream, which is a 15-minute short documentary that highlights Walt Disney's life and features rare audio recordings and historical footage. It's never busy in here, but if you have an appreciation for Walt, like the man and his journey, it's 100% worth checking out. We actually love this spot in the park. We haven't taken the kids in here either, but we might have to this time.
Yeah, agreed. And everybody knows about Fantasmic, but there's actually a couple of nighttime shows projected on the Chinese Grauman Theater every night as well. The first is Disney Movie Magic, which is a 10-minute projection show featuring moments and songs from movies like Indiana Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean. And Wonderful World of Animation is a similar thing, except for it highlights 90 years of animation history, showcasing classic movies from Disney and Pixar like Sleeping Beauty, The Incredibles, Coco, among many, many others.
Yeah, exactly. And like anything else, you're going to find the most up-to-date information on the My Disney Experience app. So for example, tonight, Movie Magic is at 8:25, and then Wonderful World of Animation is at 8:45. So they kind of happen in between performances of Fantasmic. Now, when it comes to dining at Hollywood Studios, again, it's a smaller park, so there's fewer options overall, but some get a lot more attention than others. So Sci-Fi Dine-In is super popular. So is Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, Woody's Lunchbox, Backlot Express, Hollywood Brown Derby, and Hollywood and Vine. ABC Commissary has gained kind of more traction in recent years, but it's still probably overlooked more than it should be. The theming is kind of bland, right? Nothing to write home about, but the food here is not bland. So there's several good options here and some different and healthier options as well. They have shrimp tacos, a Mediterranean salad, pork tacos, a buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwich that's actually really, really good, among other options. This is actually our go-to stop for quick service right now at Hollywood Studios, and we're actually likely to stop here again on our upcoming trip.
Yeah, I agree. Another overlooked option is Fairfax Fair. This is located on Sunset Boulevard, not far from Hollywood Scoops. And a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have actually been mentioning this place at all, but they have now added these savory waffle bowls that are actually really good. It's sometimes fun to try, and it differs from your usual park offerings. They have a beef, pork, and chicken option, as well as the plant-based soba noodle option as well.
Yeah, and you can also get the Enchanted Rose dessert here, which is like a dark chocolate mousse, and it's visually pretty and delicious as well. And lastly is 50's Primetime Cafe. So this place isn't as popular as the other table service restaurants in the park, but you should definitely consider it as a potential during your next trip, right?
I agree.
The menu has a ton of accessible and delicious options like fried chicken, grilled fish, pot roast, pasta, and the dessert menu has a good peanut butter layered cake, which you know I love peanut butter, and a warm apple crisp that's really delicious as well.
It kind of gives, obviously, like what you would think of quintessential 50s, and mom was staying home and she cooked home-cooked meals. Nobody ate out. They just ate home-cooked meals, hearty meals every day. And that's kind of the vibe it gives.
That's what the inside of the restaurant looks like.
Yeah,
it's like a 50s kitchen and like dining room.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
So what might keep some people away from this is the bit that the cast members play. They will treat you like family. So they're going to comment if you put your elbows on the table or if you don't finish your veggies, that type of thing. Not everyone likes that, but like anything else, just be kind and polite and let the cast members know if you or someone in your party is kind of put off by that, and they will totally respect that. Having said that, it is part of the fun of this place, so there's something to be said about just going with it as well.
No, exactly, 100%. All right, next up, we're heading to Epcot. So we know a lot of people, they feel like Epcot doesn't have much going for it if you don't like eating and drinking, and that's
wrong.
It's just not the case, right? There's a lot going on at this park outside of that, and a lot of it gets overlooked by a lot of folks. So when it comes to attractions, you've got the headliners, right? So think Guardians, Frozen, Remy's, Test Track when it reopens, and to a lesser extent, Soarin'.
There are others, though, that don't get much love and attention. First up is the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros. This attraction features the antics of Donald Duck, Panchito, and Jose Carioca. I'm not very good at saying that. It's a slow boat ride with a kind of small world vibe, I think, to it, hey? It never has a long wait, and for that reason, it definitely deserves a stop at some point during your day.
Yeah, plus you're likely to walk into the pyramid anyway, so, just to say you did. And you may as well hop on the attraction while you're in there.
May as well.
And grab a margarita and some chips and guac and stuff.
Wouldn't that be fun if you could actually be on the boat with that stuff?
Yeah, you can't, but yes,
you can't.
That would be amazing.
Just as a side note, you can't, but that would be fun.
Then next up, over near the Imagination Pavilion, you have the Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival. So here you're going to get to watch 3 Disney and Pixar shorts shown in 3D. It's a good way to get out of the sun and relax for a while. Plus, who doesn't love, the Disney shorts and like the Pixar ones?
They're so all good.
They're just so good. And so, yeah, if you want to just sit down and watch some good shorts, it's a good way to burn 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then over at the Land Pavilion, you've got Living with the Land. This never has a very long wait outside of the absolute busiest times of year, like Christmas time. I think I've seen it get up to like 50, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
agreed. Yeah.
This is original Epcot in the sense that it's largely an educational attraction. It's a slow boat ride that takes you through the greenhouses and the fish farm housed at Epcot. It also gets a seasonal overlay at the holidays where it becomes glimmering greenhouses, and it's especially worth visiting during that time if you are there. Yep. This is an underrated attraction. We always do this one no matter what. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, agreed. And I actually did the behind the scenes tour here during my last trip, and I can definitely recommend that as well. That was a lot of fun. And over in the Canada Pavilion, you have the Circle Vision 360 film, Canada Far and Wide, hosted by Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. And it's not because we're Canadian, but it's worth stopping here. And then you might as well grab some maple popcorn while you're at it. So it's about 12 minutes long, so not much of a time commitment.
Yeah, and the China Pavilion also has a Circle Vision 360 film in their pavilion named Reflections of China, showing modern and ancient China in a 14-minute film. Definitely worth stopping for that one as well. Over in the Seas Pavilion, you've got the Seas with Nemo and Friends, which was ultra popular when it first opened, but it's been pretty neglected nowadays. We still love it. Our kids loved Finding Nemo. I also did as well. I thought it was such a colorful, wonderful movie. And so it's a really cute attraction. It's an omnimover like Haunted Mansion with a mix of sets and screens, and I just think it's really well done. I enjoy that one every single time.
Agreed. Yeah, it's really cute. While you're at the Seas Pavilion, you might as well check out Turtle Talk with Crush. That's another fun one that's often missed. So this is a 15 minutes kind of live chat with Crush where he'll actually interact with the audience. So it's an improvised show, not unlike Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor over at Magic Kingdom. So it's going to be different every single time, which is fun, right? So if you got Finding Nemo fans in your party, it's definitely worth a stop here.
And I find that the Seas Pavilion in general, you can spend a long time in there because then there's the aquariums, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And I feel like a lot of people, as your kids are older, you may just like if you've been there for the first time and your kids are older, you might be like, oh, we're not going in there Finding Nemo. No, you should still go in there.
Agreed, 100%.
The aquariums themselves are really cool. You sometimes will see a diver in there taking care of things. So it's definitely worth a stop in my opinion.
Agreed, yeah.
Spaceship Earth is probably the most popular attraction on our list of underrated attractions at Epcot, but still, it's not usually very busy outside of the busiest times. Lots of people walk right by it and don't actually come back at any point during the day because it's at the entrance. And then when you're leaving, you kind of look back at the ball. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
and
you
then
watch
you
the
leave.
light show and then you leave. Yeah.
I will say in 2014, we looked at that ball and we were like, I wonder what's in there or if anything's in there. We didn't even know, I think, that an attraction was in there.
In 2014?
Because we did not go in it with my parents.
We must have done Spaceship Earth.
We did not, I can guarantee you.
God, it's so hard to remember. It was so long ago. Yeah.
But this is definitely a classic and we absolutely love this one. The narration by Dame Judi Dench, the smell of burning from the scenes in the attraction, and then, of course, the slow upward crawl into the geodesic sphere. It's definitely a favorite of ours and a must-do every single trip. You should definitely check this out as well.
Yeah, and
it's a good place. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've fallen asleep in this ride more than once.
You have had many a nap. Honestly, I have too. But
it's not because it's a drag, right? More because it's like comforting.
It's so comforting.
You got Dame Judi Dench, just lulling you
there's
into
her voice.
Yeah.
Okay, and nobody's staring at you because it's just private almost.
And it's dark. It is. And everyone, it's like front to back.
That's what I mean. So it's kind of just private, so
you
you don't feel awkward if you do close your eyes for a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And then last for attractions here is Mission Space, but the green side.
Yeah.
So, right, the orange side is the busier side for sure. And some people avoid the attraction altogether because of the vomit factor here.
Which is fair.
But we did the green side with the kids last year and it's definitely less intense. And we think more people would actually enjoy it if they tried it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a more leisure experience. And the simulation is actually completely different, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you don't mind the orange side, it's definitely worth checking out the green side at least once.
Yeah, just to say you did. Yeah.
So for entertainment, of course, you've got Luminous, the Symphony of Us, which is the nighttime spectacular in this park. And you've also got Spaceship Earth and whatever light show is going on during your trip. That's really hard to miss. But there's also lesser known entertainment in the park that you should definitely be experienced during your day as well.
Yeah, exactly. First up, we've got the Jameters. So this performance happens near the Club Cool, not far from Creation Shop on the test track side. So these cast members are dressed in like custodial whites, like custodial white uniforms there. Like, you know what I mean? Like the custodial staff are all wearing white uniforms. These guys are too. And they're set up with garbage cans that double as drums. And they play a fun set of like a percussion beats on the garbage cans. They're a riot and definitely worth checking out. It's not a long show, clocking in around like 10 minutes or so, and it happens a handful of times throughout the day. Again, these are listed on the My Disney Experience app.
Over in the Italy Pavilion, on select days and with a few show times throughout the day, you can catch Sergio. His act is a mix of mime and juggling and lighthearted humor. He's dressed kind of like this Where's Waldo character.
He is, yeah, with like the hat and the shirt. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a fun thing to do while you are munching on some gelato from the Gelateria Toscana. Times and dates while he's performing are on the My Disney Experience app.
Yeah, exactly. And then over in the American Adventure Pavilion, the Voices of Liberty perform in the Rotunda inside the space there. They usually have about 3 shows a day right around lunchtime, and they're a group of essentially really talented singers, and they'll take part in other performances across the parks throughout the year, but you can usually catch them here. But for example, during the Candlelight Processional, they'll be part of the singers as well, but their usual act is like inside the Rotunda at the pavilion.
And outside of that, Epcot has a ton of festival-specific entertainment as well. So depending when you're here, you should definitely be checking the app to see what is going on while you're in the park. The festival passports will always give you those details as well. Plus, the app will get a festival guide as well that you will be able to peruse leading up to and during your trip.
Yeah, that's a nice thing that they've started semi-recently is that the full kind of festival guide is on the app. So you can see, all the snacks that are available at the food booths, the entertainment that's going on at the America Gardens Theater, and essentially anything else that might be going on, which is awesome. And then for dining at Epcot, you've got the big names like Via Napoli, Space 220, Sen and Hell Inn Restaurant inside the Pyramid, Le Cellier over in the Canada Pavilion. But there are other restaurants that don't get nearly as much love that are definitely worth considering as well.
Akershus is over at the Norway Pavilion. This is a good alternative to Cinderella's Royal Table at Magic Kingdom. This is a character meal featuring many of the same princesses that you will meet at Cinderella's Royal Table, but with a lower price tag, and reservations aren't nearly as hard to snag as well. The menu is a little bit more eclectic and is served family style, so something to definitely consider there for sure. But there are menu items on there that should appeal to the picky eaters as well.
Yeah, agreed 100%. It's definitely, if you weren't able to get a reservation at CRT, like Lucy said, consider this one because I'm pretty sure it's all the same princesses, maybe like 1 or 2 different.
And like half the price.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about half the price, but definitely cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah. And then over in the France Pavilion, you've got Les Halles, right? Everybody knows about that. And Artisan des Glaces, where you can get that pressed brioche sandwich thing, which is pretty much the worst kept secret, right? Everybody knows about that. But you have also Crêpes à emporter, right? Which is the quick service pickup window next to La Crêperie de Paris, right? So here you can get fresh, savory, or sweet crepes, and they're delicious and shareable and definitely worth trying. Plus, the line is always going to be shorter here than at Les Halles and Artisan des Glaces. So that's nice as well if you're not, wanting to wait in a forever line for a snack. Yeah.
So over at the Land Pavilion, you've got Garden Grill. This is a rotating restaurant that will give you views of the Living of the Land attraction below. It's also a character meal featuring Mickey and Pluto and Chip and Dale. It's a family-style menu with accessible options that'll please most guests. This is definitely one of the most underrated character meals across all the parks. And for that reason, characters will often come around more than once, and you'll get actually more time with them, which is really great. Definitely worth considering for sure.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Now, back over at the Mexico Pavilion, you have La Hacienda de San Angel. So this is the table service restaurant located on the water, right? Not inside the pyramid. That's San Angel Inn restaurant. So the names are similar, so that can be confusing. But this spot is not as popular as its neighbor in the pyramid, but the food is just as good and actually better in our opinion. We love the food here. The totopos are delicious, and the alambre de res is our go-to. When it's just the two of us, we almost always eat here on our Epcot day. Just really, really good
delicious food. Absolutely. And then over in the Morocco Pavilion is Spiced Road Table. It's easy to snag a reservation here, and even walking up is definitely feasible. The food here is unreal. It is so fresh and delicious. It's more of a tapas-style menu with items like house-made hummus fries, naan breads with hummus, chermoula, marinated olives, and za'atar. spiced lamb kefta, spicy shrimp, just to name a few. Delicious, fresh every single time. We absolutely love it here as well, and it's never as busy as it should be. If you are looking for really good food and you don't have a reservation anywhere, look no further.
Yeah, agreed.
Head on over to Spice Road Table.
Yeah, exactly. And then the quick service in Morocco is named Tangerine Cafe, and it's also often overlooked. So this is where you're going to find those grilled kebabs with either chicken or lamb, with carrot chickpea salad and the garlic aioli. That is like delicious. And then the stone baked Moroccan bread with assorted dips. It has like hummus, I think za'atar, and
a few options.
Yeah, I forget what the third one is, but really, really good. And, often overlooked, but always a go-to for us.
Absolutely. All right. Last but certainly not least, and potentially the park that is skipped more than any other of the Walt Disney World parks, is wonderful Animal Kingdom. I don't know how people skip this park.
Yeah.
We love this park. And while some people might skip it, like I said, because they just feel like it's a zoo, it's their loss, because this park is a seriously amazing park with such good attractions, shows, and food.
Yeah, exactly. For attractions, you've got the big ones, right? Like Flight of Passage, Navi River Journey, Kilimanjaro Safaris, and Expedition Everest. But there's so much more going on at this park as well. So first up for attractions, we've got Dinosaur. And while it's like mildly popular, right? It's not as popular as the others in the park. And while I will admit that it's not my favorite, right? It's definitely worth doing, especially since it's being rethemed to Indiana Jones in 2026. So if you want to experience it like in its current form, now is the time.
Honestly, the theming is actually pretty good, and it's a little bit humorous as well. It's just so jerky, the ride. But in all fairness, we took the kids on it last year for the first time, and they both loved it. So there's that. They thought it was great. And I'm really excited for the Indiana Jones retheme, because I rode the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland. It was like my dad's favorite ride. He wanted to ride that over and over again. So I think that'll be the same here.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up is the Wildlife Express train. This is a train that takes you to the Rafiki Planet Watch. It's actually the only way to get there, but the train itself is an attraction. And even if you've got no interest in going to Rafiki's Planet Watch, it's definitely worth taking the train ride. The car faces out, so it gives you these great views of some of the backstage areas of the park where they take care of the animals that live at Animal Kingdom, which is super cool in my opinion.
Agreed 100%. And if nothing else, just take the train, right? Just take the train there and back.
Yeah.
It's a really, really nice
Don't
ride.
even have to really get off of it.
Yeah, exactly. And then most people know and love the Festival of the Lion King, which is arguably the best show in all of Walt Disney World. But Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond is also really, really good. So Festival of the Lion King, always fills up. I've never been in there where it's not been full. It's just always busy. Whereas Finding Nemo, not so much, right? Which is too bad, because it's actually really great. The show, is actually revamped recently. I think it was in 2024, and it's now just over 20 minutes long, which is the perfect length. It's just a really, really good, cute show.
Yeah, absolutely. The show features actors and puppets in an abbreviated version of the movie, complete with the songs that you know and love. It's a really cute show, definitely worth seeing. You've also got a couple of walking trails that are definitely worth doing. The first is the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. This is the one in the Africa section of the park near the Kilimanjaro Safaris attraction. The walk isn't too long, plus you can walk at your own pace, as slow or as fast as you want. You'll get a look at the lowland gorillas along with other animals throughout this as well, which is really great.
Yeah, agreed 100%. Not many people do this, but as soon as you get off Kilimanjaro Safaris, just keep it going, and it's a good place to go and, stretch your legs. And, you'll get to see some animals that I've seen the
gorillas. They're cool.
And you may not get to see some of the animals that you'll see on the walk, like during the safari. So it's a good way to get a peek at some more animals.
Get them all in, yeah.
And then over in Asia, you've got a similar thing at the Maharaja Jungle Trek. So this is where you're going to be able to see the tigers, including the recent addition Baxo, which is a little baby tiger that was born late last year. So he's just about 6 months old now, and I've seen videos of him on social media. And my God, he's cute. You're also going to see Komodo dragons, water buffalo, and over 50 species of birds, among others. And then over in the Anandapur Theater, you've got Feathered Friends in Flight. So this is a 30-minute show where animal behavior specialists will give you behind-the-scenes looks at the free-flying birds that live at Animal Kingdom. It's really fun and informative, and definitely worth seeing as well. So there's several show times throughout the day, from mid-morning to kind of late afternoon.
So for experiences, you've got the animation experience at the Conservation Station. This is similar to the animation experience at Epcot during the Festival of the Arts, but this is here year-round. Here, a Disney animator will have you follow along as you draw a Disney character. The experience is about 25 minutes long, and there are several times throughout the day. The characters will rotate as well, so it can definitely be something different every single time you visit, which is a fun thing too.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've also got Animal Encounters, Winged Encounters, The Kingdom Takes Flight. So this happens in front of the Tree of Life. And there's a handful of shows throughout the day. So the free-flying macaws that live at Animal Kingdom take flight and showcase their beautiful plumage. Okay, so cast members are going to be there to answer questions and highlight some of the facts about the birds. If you've ever watched The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom, you've likely seen the episode where they highlight the macaws, and it's just so impressive. If you haven't checked out this show, we highly recommend it. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. Over in the Africa section of the park, you've got a few performances throughout the day that are lesser known, but definitely 100% worth checking out and definitely worth your time. The first is Buridika, which is a street band that plays Afro pop music. Shows are roughly 30 minutes long and happen several times throughout the day.
Yeah, and you've also got the Tam Tam Drummers. So this is a lively percussion show that performs several times throughout the day as well. And this show is about 50 minutes long, and it's a riot. Like really, really fun. Yeah. So definitely worth stopping. And over at Discovery Island, which is the hub for the park, you have the Viva Gaia Street Band who play kind of more Caribbean tunes. Their shows are also about 30 minutes and they're like fun and vibrant, and the costumes that the cast members are wearing are like colorful. There's just a lot going on at this park, like we said. And like, if you think it's just a zoo, like think again, there's just, there's a ton going on. It's just, it's great.
There's also the walking trails on Discovery Island that take you behind and under the Tree of Life. Not many people know about this and will never actually venture there. But if you really want a close-up look at the tree and photos with no one else in them, it's definitely a good place to go and walk around. We like grabbing a coffee and strolling back in here. It's always quiet because not many people know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that most people don't know about is the Oasis. So this is actually the area near the front of the park that is like dense with greenery. And there's a bunch of actual animal exhibits in there that people will just blow by first thing in the morning.
Because they're off to Pandora.
Exactly. Everyone's rope dropping Flight of Passage.
Which is fair in the morning. But
exactly, right? And then they'll cycle through the park. They'll go to Africa, Asia, hit the shows, have lunch, whatever the case is. And then they'll leave. And they'll never actually stop. But there are animals that live there. So you're going to see wallabies, spoonbills, barking deer, anteaters, boar. And again, like they're all right there. You just have to stop and look.
Absolutely. So for underrated dining in this park, first up, you've got Tiffin's. The attached lounge, which is the Nomad Lounge, is great, and we absolutely love it there. Definitely top-notch lounge. But the table service restaurant doesn't get as much love as it should. There's a couple reasons for this, of course. Number one, it's a signature dining experience, so it's definitely on the expensive side. And two, many people don't actually spend the entire day at Animal Kingdom, so you just have less people having dinner here than you would if it was located somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Having said that, it really has, good offerings in terms of menu that are a departure from your usual theme park food. Plus, they have really, really good bread service here. Not as good as Sanaa over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but still really, really good. And over on Discovery Island, you've got 8 Spoon Cafe. This is a small walk-up window that serves specialty mac and cheese. So Flame Tree Barbecue is a popular spot, right? But you can get that, not the same, but a really similar pulled pork mac and cheese here as well. That's really tasty.
Over in Africa, you've got the Tamu Tamu Refreshments. This counter location serves Dole Whip and floats, but they also have a pineapple crisp sundae, which is pineapple crisp cake, vanilla ice cream, pineapple caramel, and crispy streusel topping. It is big, shareable, and 100% delicious.
Yes, it is big and shareable, and I may or may not have eaten a whole thing by myself in January, and it was delicious.
It's okay. No judgment.
And then over in Denderland, USA at Trilo Bites, you can get Dole Whip as well. And they also have the buffalo chicken chips, which are house-made chips with buffalo chicken, blue cheese dressing, and a tomato and celery relish. And it's delicious,
Honestly, this one I was like, oh, okay, when we tried it, and I was like, very pleasantly
very
surprised.
Simple, but really, really good.
Actually, it really hit the spot, that one.
Now, having said that, you're not going to be able to enjoy this one for much longer because it's going to eventually close to make way for the Tropical Americas themed land coming in 2026.
That's true. We might have to hit that one up one more time here before it closes because I really enjoyed those.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least is Mr. Kamal's, which is on the walkway that leads to Asia when you're coming from Africa. They serve seasoned fries here with sriracha mayo, and it may not sound like much, and I guess it really isn't, but they are executed really well. So if you're craving some really good fries in Animal Kingdom, look no further.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is, right? This is some of the offerings that we think are underrated across the parks. Some of you may think like these are not underrated, right? And that's fair. We wouldn't necessarily, disagree with that because some of the things that we mentioned today are actually some of our favorites, right? But generally speaking, these are offerings that tend to be, less busy or not as hard to snag reservations for, or that just, many guests aren't actually aware that are even there.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're only here every few years, or if this is your first trip ever, you want to experience the headliners, the most popular places places to eat with the most popular menu items. We felt the exact same way the first few times we went, but that's the beauty of Walt Disney World. There's so much going on that you have to go back several times and you'll still have new things to experience every single time you go.
Yeah, exactly. With that said, thank you for joining us today to talk underrated offerings. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Let's Go.to-Disney, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day and we'll see you real soon.